Okay, so technically, ES's low is not the greatest. It is a pretty equal low. I think it might actually be an equal low. So we got that. Anyways, starting with NQ. This is the daily bars, 24-hour session profiles. You can see that we did, we got a nice leg, and then held higher, came up. So yesterday I said I would go over my clues showing what was and what wasn't, or what might make it not a trend day, true trend day. And this was one of them. This is from the 11th of July. We'll go over that, but for now we do have this attempt here, another taper, and a wash down. Give me just a second. Okay, anyways, yeah, so yesterday was that, we'll go over this after I go like high time frame, low time frame. But this level was pretty much plotted because of these attempts. So we got that build and it just flushed, very thin volume, very aggressive, and it kept going. So, coming back, I'm looking at, when you get flushes like this, whether it's high time frame or low, there's a degree, of likelihood that it's going to come back and start filling in, right? And so they do that, and they go and they close here. So now this is my baseline, right? After this session filled up to here, and what do we have? Well, we have majority build here that got left off sides. So what, it's still MGI, but it's not as actionable. So the next day we get the information that, okay, well, this is kind of an important area because they built a little more here and they closed under it again, and then they tapered up here again. So the issue is no one's driving through this price, and that's the last bit of information we had there until yesterday. Coming back, build, and still there's this lack of either interest or an ability to drive through this. And so we get this today. So just for reference, you see this line here that's not dash, it's like dash dot alternate. It's this is what we'll be talking about. As far as daily candles profiles go, this is it's not the greatest for upside right now. 4 hour, these are just plots that I mark for like consolidations, which on a 4 hour time frame I would say are balances, right? Just for short-term reference. Clearly we can see that we are at one of them now. So this is where I do really my homework. As you can see, there is a level here, 350s. Pretty simple. This is what was the swing here, right? Resistance, because same idea, build below and taper above, inability, go down, break it, and build and hold above, right? You can see they traded it and they held this into the build, and they're 3 days overlapping value. Not the most fun, but still, this line is still providing value. So never took it off, and you can see that under it, yes, this is kind of like a line in the sand. Under it, they're not really able to do much. It was taper, and then it was a little bit of build and a trap, push up, build, and we are now, so this is under this build, right? If you plot a line here, or actually, you know what, I'll just draw a freaking there. Trading under this build, and where are we? Well, back to this area where no one should be surprised that the market has found a bid for now, obviously, but this is what's going on. We got this, we popped it back up like 100 points or so to the weekly open and reoffered it. So now we have a significant amount of build here. Moving forward, however the day closes, however the inventory plays out until the end of the day, this will be a very important piece of information. I won't be here for the rest of the week. I'm actually just hopping on voice real quick before I have to catch a flight, but I wanted to at least give you guys something. But moving forward, this will likely be a pretty key area, so mindful of that. For now, little time frame, this is the deal, right? We got the move, pinch again, you know, until this stops bidding, it's safest to assume that the market will bid. If you look at this 30-minute profile, these 30-minute profiles here, you could see that pretty much this is what's going on, right? If you're trading under, you shouldn't really be going back in. So right now there is this, oh, what happened to my zone? There is this spot that has to hold offer. Has to hold offer if they want to continue, right? They have to keep these guys off sides. They do have a liquidity zone right here at that spot, so this is the same zone. So they got that going for them. Obviously, the low is not the best. It's not the most secured low, so definitely can sweep on ES. Oh, it actually already did on ES. So yeah, yesterday or earlier we were looking at ES's low and how it wasn't, you know, wasn't perfect. I'll give you guys another little nugget that I use from when I traded candles only. This is not a good low or a high, right? If it looks like this at the swing of the move, this is not the best, I guess we'll say, candle pattern. This is what you want to see. You want to see excess in wicks, right? But this is not exactly what you want to see for a low or a high. Tend to be revisited and whatnot. And yeah, that's just a little something you guys could maybe use, or just tell me to screw off with that candles bullshit. Apart from that, let's see, anything notable. Apart from that, I think that's about it for intraday chart stuff. So now I will go over yesterday's little trend thing. Let me get the right timestamp. Okay, here we are. So remember this line right here? For anyone who doesn't, it's this level from July 11th that gave us some big clues yesterday. So again, it's the taper above. It's the lack of initiative activity above, which can never lead to volume build. And we need to see volume build. So yesterday, market opens, and I wish you could, oh, okay. So let me draw a profile. This is from the open to, let's see here. Okay, it's drawing all the way on this side, but whatever. So reference this furthermost profile right now. We do see that they did drive and they did build, right? They auctioned it, Delta Mat flip, whatever. But right now they are trading above this. The question is, can they extend and sustain? Well, they built volume, right? Oh, where is my thing? At the time, this is what we're seeing, right? So mind the profile development. We're seeing that build for now. So right now, as price gets here, okay, there is a chance that we might lose this. If we lose this, we might fall under here. If we fall under here, well, is this a failed break, right? And then you see that, well, it does lose it, and it comes up to test it again. So this is that area. Mark it on here for you guys to see. Let me find this profile. So you guys can see that as it comes back up, it stalls right at that area. Inability to access that volume again, and subsequently just falls off, right? So, I mean, for now we don't need this profile anymore. You guys get the point. But yeah, this is that failed break. They came up, they did build intraday, so now we have a really good point of reference in the volume. So this is a trend day. This should not be occurring, right? So the question would be, how do we know if it's really a trend day? How do we gauge for continuation of a trend, right? Let's just say for now we're thinking, possible trend day still. Well, if it were, they would not build and lose a node like this. They would actually go and just continue building higher and not leave any inventory behind on the way. Once inventory is left behind, that is the weakness. So a lot of you guys know my setup, one of my liquidation setups, well, my liquidation setup period, is this exact thing. For the market to build and build and build and build and finally lose one, but that's kind of just the beginning. You need to lose one, show initiative activity to continue downside, and then go back into it and try to regain it, right, for the extension. So typically what would happen is they would build it, they'd get to the edge, they'd hold it, they'd go up, build higher, hold it, build higher. But once they lose it, things can change, and they can change fast, right? So now there's so many confluences. There is the build, the loss of the build, the extension, the comeback, and the inability to access. This is literally the liquidation setup. But there's so many added confluences, right? There's the level. The first go at this level, actually. It's the first time back since. So again, this is what happened in July, and this is the first time coming back to this spot. The likelihood of just continuing off of that first go is pretty unlikely. So like I said, lots of confluences, and then you've got the order flow, delta map star, and again, I always say nothing is guaranteed, right? Just because you have 16 confluences doesn't mean that trade is going to work out. It may or it may not. Manage the risk. When it's on, you can't be scared. You take the trade, you manage the risk, you know where to get out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, you take a stop. Like I always tell my buddies, what's the worst that can happen, right? Because everyone's got issues where there's a fear that sets into your trading, whether you're protecting P&L, whether you're just scared to take a stop, whatever, so forth, so forth. But reality is, what's the worst that can happen? You take a stop. But if that stop is that painful, you are probably sized too big. So, that's how I execute. It's always, hey, look, something's on. I'm going to take it. Worst case scenario is it's just I get stopped out. So what? So this would be one of those trades. This is for yesterday's. Is it a trend day? Maybe not. This wouldn't really occur on a trend day, right? And this is the reason why I have Heikin Ashi candles too, because you can see momentum. Like I've said in the past, in each direction, like on the up move, you see that the bases are very, what's the word? They're squared, right? The squared edges. They are not poked back into. They're, whatever the word could be. Solid, right? On the way down, it's solid. It's going. This is like take your hands off of any longs kind of indication. So, yeah, Heikin Ashis for me, they have a good way of showing momentum. There's no way I would try longs like this and shorts like this, and so this is when they consolidate and you see like it's like a double-sided wick kind of thing, like a Darth Maul candle type thing. That's when, okay, now they're trying to figure things out. The momentum is lost, and it's consolidation, and you can maybe take a break of it or something, So if you're looking for shorts, this is the area you want to gauge for reoffer. Yeah, if you're not taking reoffers here, they did break it. They kept it pretty squared, and you can go with it. So just a little thing about another little candle nugget that I use. Yeah, I hope this one is coming off clear. yeah, that's it for yesterday. Or my indications includes that I can sniff out to be like, this is not looking like a real trend day because this would not occur or should not occur, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's yesterday. So today is, well, we got a solid build. I think the idea is we are trading in this area. That's it. Clean, cut, clear. Make no mistake about it. Do not assume any break is a break. But I will say, I think the better opportunities are not a downside extension, rather a hold of the spot because it can be expected. It can make sense, right? It's a key area. But a hold of this and an ability to initiate trade above this area, which means now there's a lot of volume at risk. I mean, even just trading above here, this is a lot of inventory that can be set off sides. So if they actually find trade up here where it's, I would say, aggressive structure, if they find trade above here, they can get a squeeze. So this would be, to me, the more opportunistic trade setup, right? Not exactly a downside continuation, which is still possible, right? They are putting in considerable amount of volume. ES is already accepting lower to an extent. Let's peek at that order flow real quick. So they are finding some buying, but if this buying does not get rewarded, this buying will be set off much lower as sellers. But for now, we see this, right? There's this build, which could end up as a trap. So if they can trap these lows, come back and initiate trade above here, yeah, you could really get a nice squeeze. That's if, right? For now, the information we have is this is where we are trading. Where the inventory lies, that's it. Yeah, so DM. Yeah, well, yeah, we went over yesterday because there was some chatter about it. That's why I kind of. So I'm glad you found it helpful. I mean, if there's anything you want me to elaborate about the whole thing yesterday, feel free to just say it here in DMs. You will remain private. But yeah, usually I don't go over prior days unless it's requested. This was
what happened
a
yesterday?
topic. Just like how you can, or how I would have sniffed out that it's not going to be a trend day. Because we did have, it's this level here that I referenced on the 1 hour from July. They did have a build. It's not like they just kind of tapered off. They did have a build and they lost it, which led to a big downpour and a reoffer of the high node, which would not occur on a trend day. Yeah, we just went over that for like 20 minutes.
And I missed all of it.
And you missed it. No takebacks. But yeah, this is where we are.
Did everybody tell you that I shorted the high of the day?
Like, right here, overnight high?
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah,
guess where I piked it?
What was new low of day?
Well, I accidentally overcovered when we broke the 5-minute OR.
5-minute OR, so that's literally
608.
like, oh my, let me give him my 5-minute chart.
So I took it from 45 to 608.
Okay, so not even the that
40,
new low of day.
I think 46. I took it from 46 to like 608. Overcovered. I couldn't do anything. But we got some nice shorts from the week open.
Did anyone catch, or you or AJ catch this? Like, was anyone positioned during this thing?
No, I don't.
So this was a whole surprise, huh?
It's always a surprise.
When I came onto desk, this already played out. Events.
I mean, we talked about how tight the balance was at the open. and then, basically like, okay, if we break the balance, this tight range, don't necessarily want to fade it right away. But we did not think that it was going to liquidate, 200 points or 300
The
points.
IB, yeah. IB went from looking like it might build pretty tight to being 150 points in a flash.
But I think that was good.
It's a good area. Yeah, I mean, high time frame. This I was going over earlier on my daily. This is that July 11th spot, the same line where they offered it today again, just like they did yesterday. It's just been taper, and then it died. This is the first time coming back, and it's still showing a taper as of yesterday. So, dang. Yeah, that's a. There is a part of me that's pretty surprised that they haven't even been able to start auctioning into this range yet. But if they can catch above 450s, yeah, this thing could gather some legs. But they're gonna have to do work at these lows. Can't trap when there's too much selling.
It was tough not to look rebid in the morning for me personally, just because in the first 10 minutes or so before the OR, I mean, they couldn't break. I guess towards the end of A period that stab like 609 because the overnight was holding that area, and I don't know, I thought they would peak below there, and I did take some stops in that 560 area, but I don't know. It was weird. It's weird. I'd say that the break after the 560, the break below the 550 is okay, hands off. That was easy, but anywhere below the 5-minute OR down to overnight low, I think, looking bid. I don't know, it was looking along the wrong thing there. I'm just kind of reviewing my activity for the day and how I was thinking.
I always, when there is tight consolidation, it makes me very biased to extension. So something like this in the morning, yeah, if we were to actually break, and so I wasn't on desk, but looking at the Heikin Ashi candles, we did break, and we don't get these solid bases on Heikin Ashi without price actually holding, right? So every time I see stuff like this, I kind of envision what it would look like on the DOM, and coming out of this consolidation, there's a high likelihood I would have started scaling into shorts, obviously giving it room to go back and prove me wrong, which means we auction back in. But this is something I've done often on extension days or days that have really narrow range that eventually finally lead to an extension. It's paid very well. Obviously, you have to size in. I size in probably like 4 times, 4 to 5, which means the sizing is like 20% increments. Because, there's a risk of it not breaking. There's always that risk, and that's why breakout trading is like pretty dangerous. But when ranges are pretty narrow like this, I get pretty biased towards extension. So that's one way to look at it. I think remaining bid biased after something like this is, if you do enough back testing, you'll find that it's pretty
all right,
anti-EV.
You know what? I'll journal this one. I'll journal this day here.
I mean, like, the reality also is, who's gonna expect this? Like, anyone who says has got a course to sell you.
I was thinking like the 550s might hold on NQ, and I was like,
yeah, see, that's reasonable.
That's not
that's where I was. That's where I was going in.
No, that's not it's not a terrible trade.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I thought you're like trying to long back through this.
No, the 550s.
Yeah, this is a very reasonable trade.
Yeah,
because this is also an overnight low and stuff. They can definitely, even if you're offsides in the grand scheme of the day, this can definitely have bid all the way up to this breakpoint.
Yeah,
it would never surprise me.
That's why I had a rectangle draw pool from 70 right at that area.
Where?
Right at the 50, 60s, mid 60s.
Oh, and these lows?
No, the 5. No, I traded A period, so this would in B period in the 5.
Oh, you mean like here?
550s, yeah. So it was coming to my area, and I was like, all right, I have this rectangle draw tool. It's good. Who knows? My thing is, if I'm looking for a long there, and it did not pan out. I didn't get hurt too bad because I was able to take some off and and after 10 points and stuff like that. But then once it breaks lower, getting in is just so hard. Like I know, like okay, I
Yeah.
was wrong. It's breaking. This is obvious a short, but getting on the right side of the trade is tough. And then from there, being Leo, you're here, so being on voice actually helped. Just keep me out of longs because then I'm just looking for the next long, right?
Yeah, well, that's
Yes.
good. I mean, glad it was.
AJ said to market short the breaks, or market, whatever the break is. That's what I heard.
He did
did,
actually
he
keep
did.
it short too.
He literally said, like, hey, if it breaks above or below, I want to see continuation.
Yeah,
So-
he shorted when I was in the long for NQ, I think.
Yeah, that's generally what I do too. I don't ever market. I hit buy bid or sell ask. But that's kind of the only way. That's the unfortunate part, right? So Blue, you had a great idea. You had, you managed it, I would say, appropriately. If you're not someone who market orders, it's almost impossible for you to get in that trade, which is okay, right? It's like I always say, not every dollar is yours, not every dollar is mine. But it's the reality of the whole thing. Like, a certain activity requires like getting in how you normally wouldn't. And then if you don't, then it goes without you. Hey, so be it. Whatever. The trading day is long, the week is long, the year is long. And it goes down to style, right? AJ is probably thinking the same thing I am. Like, this is such a tight consolidation that if we extend and they show, actual extension, I don't foresee this coming back. And that's probably what got him into market short. I mean, I would think that's why anyone market orders anything.
I guess one thing, like just reflecting back on, I was on some calls, but I'm getting back and I'm like kind of reviewing my trades right now. And I guess laying off the pitches, like if I didn't catch that, I was obviously went long, I was looking for the long, but they peak below overnight low and fail. That didn't work out. But
it could have.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't fault it. I mean, I guess I wasn't crazy, but maybe. I'm not sure about my Dom read. I'll have to like.
Even if it wasn't overnight low, like if you look at it in terms of, let's see, how can I find this? Let's just look at this 5 minute. So this 5 minute, try to ignore everything other than volume profiles. This is where you're looking. This is not a bad spot.
Yeah. Here, Cal, too. Here, I'll admit something else. I did try again near prior week value area high. Right. I guess that's a pitch I should have definitely laid off of. Like I don't know. I feel like that's a slider in the dirt. Right.
Okay, so
I broke even on that one. I mean, I went in, I was like, I scratched it, and then I sat.
I would say it's bad because, okay, obviously I didn't see this part. I got the desk
after single prints too.
No, probably here, right? I got the desk probably here before they got to this low. But in terms of a location, so you're talking about location, prior week high or value area high. I don't think it's a bad location. By no means is it a bad location because, okay, look, prior week value area high, where is it? It's still at the top of this balance, right? We had a 3-day overlapping value. They can certainly hold here, right? The only thing is, well, looking at these candles, this is kind of like what I was saying earlier. This is showing insane momentum, very insane momentum. So yeah, it's kind of like putting your hand out when there's a million daggers coming down. Yeah, we get it. But in terms of a location, I would not say that's a bad location. I don't think location spotting wise, that's something you should eliminate from your playbook because that's somewhere I would look as well. It's just the activity is pretty damning. This is not rebid Heikin-Ashi candle formation right here.
Sorry if I have a real question here. So the Heikin-Ashi candles, what kind of candles are those?
It's just 1 minute.
1 minute NQ Heikin-Ashi candles. What do you want to see on the candles?
Well, it depends. Are you talking about wanting to see to remain or get short or to rebid?
That's not really in my playbook, like chasing.
Okay, so yeah, so
upside momentum is, downside not yet. I mean, I might,
so
learn that itch at some point, but
the information, obviously, in hindsight, is we finally get an extension, and I was noting earlier how I visualize Heikin-Ashi is in the direction if the bases are really solid like this, and we are still going like towards the middle down, that's strength. That's get the hell out of the way. But finally, we get, the wicks are coming in. This is an auction. This is going to be, hey, yeah, we are either going to rebid this to attempt this and maybe further back, further up, or if this dies, this is the indication that the market is still looking to go further down, right? So finally, we get this, and this breaks, and then you start to get the wide momentum, solid bases again, and it's stretching down, right? It's these candles are long. And the bases are wide, they cannot really get to these spots. So this, to me, is showing really immense momentum until you get the pinch, right? And then, no more solid bases up here, but they're trying down here, they're down here. They get reoffered again, right? On the way up, solid bases, things like this is get out of the way, like this, right? When the candles start to extend and show solid bases, that's momentum, and this is extreme momentum.
Cool. So that's a 1 minute NQ with a Delta Map Heikin-Ashi candle.
Yeah. So no color bar, just bar up, bar down colors.
Okay. I'm going to try out the 2K volume ES tape reader, see if that gives me any clues on like when to start looking bid or offer if I start.
Oh, yeah, I did want to go over that. The tape reader, so good today. So I said last Thursday I am not taking any trades. I'm on vacation mode until my flight. That's not too long from now. But honestly, when I got in there, there's so much opportunity. So when I got in there, they're still sliding, right? I'm still seeing all this. I got onto the stages. It sounds like the world has ended. And so I'm just looking at, let me see on my tape reader where it was. There was one short that was a momentum continuation short. Could have been pretty dicey. I'm trying to find. Okay, here it was. Super clean. So let me blow up these bars and see. So obviously we are working our way down, right? We are at the weekly open, but I've got my eyes on this level here. Why? Well, it's because every time we come down here, we give it a nice go, right? This spot, right? And so yes, we are at the weekly open, and I'm like, okay, they're either gonna hold here. This is gonna finally be the bounce for like some sort of EMA reversion or something, or this is gonna slide down right to this spot. And so I'm looking at the delta or the tape reader, and you see it's still strong, right? It's still strong, but right here it's showing me this, right? We're bouncing. So we got a nice bounce. Where is it? It's like probably up here. Where at the time, let me draw a profile. So we gotta go to 38, which is. Sorry, where the hell is my? Okay, here it goes. So yeah, the volume build was pretty much like this, and try to look at this, but there's this build here, right? And we're coming up on it, and there is this taper area, right? So looking at this, I'm like, well, if they're gonna struggle right here, we're certainly tapping this level, certainly. And I will get in with momentum. My risk won't have to be much because it's a momentum trade. I've got solid bases I can work with. I can literally just risk this base, right? So this is my frame of reference right here. This is the risk. And I'm expecting these candles to continue. And what am I looking at? I'm looking at right here. We got over 12 happening right now. They're unable to push out through here. And it's starting to curl down. So I position a short and I scalp this thing to this level. So 351, half. And it winds down. It starts to wind down, and it just goes quick and painless, instant, however many points. This was like 50, 60 points, super fast. As you guys knew, you guys saw it. Yeah, the tape reader right here, this is very clean, right? These kinds of tapers can make you a lot of money, like this, right? Very clean. So this is like a steep drop off, right? But these, right, this is very smooth. I utilize these as major confluences. So just something I wanted to note from that trade. Obviously, I had I had to give it a chance here as well. I think it's better visualized on the footprint how I executed it. They finally go down. They have this build, but as they come up and they trade back into here, they really do struggle. Anyone can replay this if you want. This is a good replay. For anyone that's using the bid and ask like me, they show significant struggle. So they actually came down. They built something that looked kind of like this, right? So this area right here, very quick and snappy, but they did have a build, and you can see it on the bid ask. And once they pop up, they leave very thin prints. They start auctioning here, and every time they auction towards this edge, it holds. They cannot get back into these thin prints. So this is confidence for me. Hey, this is the bounce. EMA reversion, weekly open retest, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of went both ways. I took it here to here and then here to here. Honestly, it was just, I had to take the opportunity, you know. So I'm glad I got to charts at almost the perfect time to skip all of this nonsense earlier, or this whatever it could have been, and just kind of got in when momentum was really strong. When momentum is really strong, the tape's going crazy. It's a lot easier for me to read order flow in terms of momentum and getting the move. It's just way easier for me. As you guys know, I'm not like the best at holding trades, so it definitely helps in that part. But yeah, that was my experience today. It's kind of like not looking to trade, but the market's like literally forcing me to do something because it's that clean and it's that opportunistic because it's this spot, right? This is a very high opportunity area, evidently. And with that pace coming in, and then the tape reader showing what it showed, and this level still not touched, and they broke below weekly open for now. They're not looking like they can hold a bid. Yeah, I'm looking for that flush through here. Obviously, it went quite a bit further, about 20 points further, but hey, that's not my trade. Yeah, thanks for bringing up the tape reader, because I did want to go over that.
Any other, you know, well,
the best trades are the ones where you feel like the market's telling you, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. And in your mind, you're already like, you know what? If this trade doesn't work out, I don't even care because it's that opportunistic. I got to do it. So reality is, did I think we would actually reoffer this? I got flat here. Did I think it would actually reoffer this? Not to this degree. I got flat because I just wanted to be done with the trade. But yeah, I did think this was going to be the start of us backfilling in this volume. But they said no, I don't think so. Still could. I mean, this is kind of what we were talking about earlier. They got to get to these lows and trap somehow. Is this a good enough trap? I don't know. Honestly, I'm hesitant to say so, but we're coming back into this range. And again, if they can find something above 450, you know, you could get a squeeze to start backfilling this volume. If you look at the 30-minute, yeah, it's like the entire day's range is, at some point, was just a single print. But yeah, they can use some work right here. This area.
Hey, XYZ.
Yep.
Just looking at the chart now, I think it's kind of funny that it's almost a mirror image of yesterday, where we get a big drive up. Today it's down. Then we just get, I don't know, what would you call it? Consolidation, or just like, you know, a few rotations up and down.
I would just say
it's
kind
almost
of like,
the exact same thing as yesterday, but the other direction.
yes. I wouldn't say so. I think yesterday to me was quite different in the way where it had one chance. They only used one opportunity, right, to try above the spot. So, not to say it was quick, but they came up, they actually broke it, they built, and they lost it, and that was that. Good night, no more, there's nothing left to talk about. Today is different. They extended, I mean, they're at the other end of this, right? But they're still here after so many hours. Like, majority of the day is actually spent trading down here. as opposed to yesterday, they had that one build, lost it, and never accessed it again. This one is constantly staying in this build. Majority inventory by a large margin actually is here, as opposed to yesterday was not the case, and actually was never the case. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that
Yeah.
would be-
Yesterday I had my trend day goggles on and was unable to see anything other than that. So it was kind of sucked because I gave back all my gains, or at least a portion of them.
Yeah, to me, you could say in a sense it was opposite of yesterday, in the sense that yesterday it would be as if they came down here, did this, and never traded this again, and just started trading up. But today,
Yeah,
they're
I guess
showing-
that's true. Yeah.
yeah, they're showing an inability to actually get in here at all. Acceptance is down here, and so yesterday was showing the opposite. Acceptance was in fact not here, and so you had to revert. And you know that's for now. Obviously, they're still doing this whole dance, but 1, 2, 3 attempts, inability to extend. Very reminiscent of when I lost the prop bet to Leo, and it just went higher for the rest of the day. Because, well, when you keep trying like this, it doesn't work out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hope that helps clear it up. How I see it as different than yesterday.
Yeah, and I appreciate the detailed explanation about yesterday because, like I said, I did not trade that very well. Like I caught the move up, but I was looking for just
Continuation.
more upside. So
Yeah, I mean it is one of those things. That's why my setup, I don't try to find that high. I try to play on a lost node, but I can't do anything until a node is actually lost. So that kind of like helps me see too on real trend days. You can't really play on lost nodes because they never get lost until they do. Yesterday happened quite quickly. That's like kind of like a morning reversal, morning top reversal kind of thing, which is not as infrequent as we might think. They kind of drive it, they test it, they find that this isn't going to work out, and then it doesn't work out. I don't know if you had that level drawn as well, or a zone, or just that was pretty much the swing that's been untested since until yesterday. So that could have aided if you had it drawn.
yeah, honestly, I haven't been looking that far back in recent times. I've just been more focusing on usually on the last like 2 to 3 weeks, and yeah. So my older style of trading, maybe like 8-9 months ago would have seen something like that as an area of resistance because I was more focused on catching bigger moves from the high time frame profiles. But yeah, more recently I've just been focused on like the past like 1 to 2 weeks and using the pivot extensions. So I think yesterday I was really looking for that. Like after I saw that strong move up, and then I saw like a little pullback, and I was like re-longing for a continued move up to like I think it was like the 1A or something like that on NQ. So,
Yeah. I mean, you guys know me. I don't really play long trades or like high time frame moves to hold. It's my zones and my lines, and I think I've referenced this a lot too, is they're not like, oh, I'm looking to enter at these zones or at these lines. They're all just reference points for me. I want to see what the market does around those areas before I even think to do anything. So, coming here, I'm not even thinking like, oh, I'm looking for a bid here. I'm looking to enter. Like, no, I want to see something. I want to see the market show that this is actually worth something. There is something to this spot, and it did. And the confluence was also this landslide that was not getting backfilled at all. If they were going to do it at any point, I would think it would be here for any kind of bounce for a reoffer. So those are the things that led to it. But yeah, these aren't ever levels or zones that I'm like, this is where I'm scaling into my position or getting in. It's really just for reference so I don't get lost in it, right? So if I didn't have that line, you look at a 1 hour. Oh, what did I do to my chart? Uh-oh.
Quick, close it without saving.
That's what I always do when I panic. But I found it. But yeah, so for something like this, my view on the 1 hour is not this wide. I can probably see like this much. There's no way I would have saw this without already having a line here. So that's kind of why I do these things to a certain degree. I'm not gonna plot one like that's way friggin' like 7 months down, downside, but it's so that I don't get lost. And as market moves up, now I have another line. I'm like, wait, what is this? Why do I have this line here? Then I look back like, oh, this looks pretty important. Just
Yeah, there was obviously a very big seller that caused that, I don't know, the past several months worth of movement to the downside. So
right.
it only makes sense that,
Yeah, for anyone that's barely hopping on, this is wrong chart. This is it right here.
Yep.
This is why the line exists, and it caused a lot of pain.
Yeah, it caused that huge move down.
Yeah, so that's that. Sorry, I haven't seen that voice channel chat, whatever. Tape reader below. Brian, yeah, this is 100 volume, the one under my DOM. What areas am I interested in? The same ones that the market has given us for the past few weeks. I haven't plotted anything new really. We have this, we've got this line and this zone here. If anything, on the downside, I would expect this to be pretty interesting, seeing as this is the most recent build that led us higher. So let's try to find this on. So this is that same zone I just used. Yeah, so perfect. We had a day that closed lower and they came up and they built up here, and they actually continued from here. So this area right here, I would say is likely for a bid, and this would be prior balance. Looking at the 1 hour, this is also that friggin' 3-day overlapping value kind of balance. So yeah, I would say around this area. This might be a little too deep. You probably get away with the zone like this, like 30 points like this, or that's what I would do. So if I plotted this, it'd be like this. I would plot it up to here. It doesn't mean this is invalidated if price trades into here. It just means I am not looking for any longs. I am not interested. What I'm using this for is just reference. I want to see price get into here and show that it can pop back above and hold above. So even if it does this and it goes down, this is no bid zone. I don't care if these are the best prices. They look like they are. It's just not my trade. This is not what I do. If anything, I'm looking to see if they can continue and start getting downside, right? But this is the no-go zone. No longs, no shorts. Shorts under here, longs above here. So even if they go down here, they poke under and they start to reclaim, they show that, on an intraday basis that this is going to hold. That's when I'd go. So that's why my zones aren't like, oh, all the way here and we'll invalidate down here. I don't like that. I like better zones for entry because, well, I don't like it too wide. Then at that point, am I even going to listen to it when we get there? It's just such a wide zone. What if I do nothing? So this is how I mark my stuff. They're references. So it's kind of like this, right? Obviously, it pokes further, blah, 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 or this. Why do I have a zone to buy here when price every single time has broken lower? Well, I would just rather buy higher. That's just my idea. That's it. So that's why my zones look like this a lot, and they're more narrow. It's because that's just how I would like to operate off of them. So, long-winded way for Gigabit to say that, yeah, this is where I would expect something. Obviously, this is an LVN, so you can probably place your bids here. I don't like that danger. I would like to place my bids higher up. So do what you will here. I won't be involved, but I'll get involved if you go here and you end up back above here, which is where my level is. Right, so that's just, it's my style. It's my way of visualizing. It's my way of reacting with the market. Not worried about the best price. I'm worried about being in the right direction at the right time. I'm worried about being on time, not early. and it fits my personality because, well, I don't like holding on to stuff. I'm not gonna sit in the same trade at the best price where I could have got in an hour and a half later when it's actually moving. You know, that's why my liquidation setup looks like that. It's not about, oh, this is resistance. It's about, hey, lose me a node first. Then we'll start to talk. You know. Hope that makes sense. That was really long-winded, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, no worries, Brian. The questions help. It gives us something to talk about, so don't be shy. If you want to remain anonymous, you can just DM it to me. And I will refer to you as DM. Well, if there's any questions, please ask me now. I gotta get ready for a flight soon. Job's gonna do office hours, I'm pretty sure, soon. So if there's no further questions, I gotta get going. I mean, I hope the session's been helpful to you guys. I will catch you guys next Monday. I'm outies.
See ya.
See y'all. Thanks for hopping on,
Good
everyone.
trip.
Thanks, man.